welcome to all that are viewing this. I trust you have had a blessed week. I trust that you have seen God's mercy and kindness in every day. I am going to read this today from Matthew 16, verses 21 through 26, reading from the Message version. Starting at verse 21, then Jesus made it clear to his disciples that it was now necessary for him to go to Jerusalem, submit to the ordeal of suffering at the hands of the religious leaders, be killed, and then on the third day be raised up alive. Peter took him in hand, protesting, "Impossible, Master. That can never be." But Jesus didn't swerve. He said, "Peter, get out of my way. Satan, get lost. You have no idea how God works." Let me pause here for a moment. When I was in the military, we had a little saying: you need to lead, you need to follow, or just get out of the way. I think that Christians need to take that attitude much more to heart than they do. Right? Now, we can lead ministries, we can do our best to help ministries, and we can follow them. Those that are leading. But one thing we should not be doing is we should not be getting in the way. And we do that a lot. Churches tend to trip over their own feet. But lead, follow, or get out of the way. And this is what Jesus is saying to us here. But he goes a step further. So, starting again at verse 24, then Jesus went to work on his disciples. He turned to all his disciples, not just Peter. Anyone who intends to come with me has to let me lead. You're not in the driver's seat. I am. He said, don't run from suffering. Embrace it. Follow me and I'll show you how. Self-help is no help at all. Self-sacrifice is the way, my way, to finding yourself, your true self. What kind of deal is it to get everything you want but lose yourself? What could you ever trade for your soul? So when we are looking at our ministries and what we think we're doing, we need to remember that Jesus is the one that leads. Jesus is the one who guides us. It is Jesus' example that we look to. Don't run from suffering. Embrace it. That's a hard one. That's really hard. And he said, follow me and I'll show you how. You know, I look at, we know that Jesus probably did not really want to go to the cross, did he? I don't think he did. But he accepted it as part of God's plan. Many times I think we have crosses that we don't want to bear. We don't want to do this. And when you start looking at ministries that perhaps you're performing and people are looking to you as a leader, you there comes a time when you just don't want to do this. And it's hard. But Jesus says self-help isn't the way to go. He says self-sacrifice is. Have you ever wondered just how much sacrifice it takes to follow Jesus? I have to admit I was thinking that the other night, just actually last night. I stood in my driveway and I was praying. I was like, God, just how much do you want? You know, how much am I supposed to give? When does this stop? The truth is, there's not an easy answer to that. I don't think God minds us asking. I think God wants us to ask. I think He wants us to put our burdens on Him. But there's not an easy answer to that. Because, just as Jesus said, if we don't know how God works, and we have to trust, and we have to follow Jesus, and we have to look to Jesus. And that's the way. That is Jesus' way. So, as you're going through your week, I'd like you to consider, what do you sacrifice to follow Jesus? What are you willing to sacrifice to follow Jesus? Jesus sacrificed everything. What are we willing to sacrifice to follow Him? And don't pretend like there's an easy answer to that. Following Jesus is not going up front in church and saying a prayer and hallelujah, I'm going to heaven. That's not what following Jesus is. So consider this and consider it carefully. I think it's important. But don't expect it to be easy. So that's what I'd like you to consider this week. That's what I'd like to leave you with. And I pray you have a blessed week. You see God's hand moving. And God bless.